Fuck when you said it. Who just joined? What was that?
That's music, man.
Okay. Did I say cool? You can do that? No, I'm just kidding. Is there not a way to, like, move the placement of you in this bot? Because, like, the way I got it set up, you're, like, covered by the black guy. Here, I'll just move him. He's in a better spot now, don't worry. So I watched the new Flash movie. Thought it was pretty good.
Don't talk about that yet.
Thought it was pretty good. I want to pick and choose what I say so I don't spoil it for anybody and you. It was a good movie.
How good?
It was pretty
On
good.
A scale of 1 to 10.
It was better than Shazam. I liked it more than the Justice League. And I liked it more than the Batman.
So, James Gunn actually had like a huge hand in this one. It's like he was advertising it a lot. Like,
okay, let me say what I don't like about it. I'm gonna say what I don't like about it. The CGI is bad. It is very bad. There's parts of it that look very, very, very bad, and there's parts of it that look really good.
So with this, like, well, I'm about to like say something here. Like, is it just him like running CGI looks bad, or like
there's a lot that looks bad? That's what I was about to get into. It looks bad. There's a lot of like special, like Supergirl flying looks terrible. Her punching people looks terrible. The Flash running looks okay. I actually thought that was one of the better parts that people were saying was bad. I didn't think it was as bad. The whole like aspect of him running as goofily as he does was like kind of explained, like him literally being a kid who never ran that fast in his entire life, and then all of a sudden he has the power to fucking run as fast as time and shit, and like he can literally stop time by running. It's like, yeah, he's gonna run weird. He's not gonna have like the best form with running.
In the
there's a part
Justice
in the
League
movie
he describes like the way he's like real like yoga around like about it, and like making sure like everything's like precise and flowy. Like that's like why he like, you know, like the goofy arms, like you were saying. Like
there's a scene in the movie where basically, without spoiling it, I'll say like he loses his power, and then like he goes to attempt to run, and it's just him running like that, but without the powers, and it's like super funny. It's just like, oh fuck, damn, and it's just him running around a room like, gee, gee, like his feet squeaking on the floor, him trying to like speed run, and he's like, what the fuck? The best part of the movie, which it's not even a spoiler, it's literally in the fucking trailers, so if you're mad that I spoil this, then you're sorry. Don't watch this. Here's your warning. Leave. Is the fucking Flash, like his 18-year-old self, like he goes back in time and he hangs out. He basically
doppelganger.
Yeah, that guy is like the main character of the movie. Essentially, is like the doppelganger, and isn't
he the one that wears like the Batman Flash suit?
Which that part was really fucking cool too. He like cuts the ears off, and she's like, "What do you think? I made it myself." He's like, it's cool, man." He's like, "Be careful, like charging up too much. You know, like the friction will literally melt that suit."
So wait, I want to ask questions, but I want to see it also. So, okay, in the Flashpoint like animated movie or in like the comic, like whenever he gets transported back in time or like the alternate timeline, does he have to like regain his power?
No.
No, like how does the younger version of him, like, does he already have it?
No, so he goes back in time, like basically to I can't say this because it'll spoil it, but I'll say this: he goes back in time, and he's basically, you know, trying to save his mom, trying to prevent her from getting killed or whatever. Yep. His dad got accused of murdering her, so he's in prison. He's trying to figure all that out. He's working in forensics, being a lawyer and all that, whatever. But anyway, he goes back in time. He didn't mean to get pushed, I'll say that. He gets pushed into the day when he was 18. He didn't mean to... The day he got his powers, September 29th. And he gets into that day, and it's like the timeline where his mom lived, so he's entirely different, and he's like a fucking... Oh! He literally laughs like that. Like, I'm not joking. That's not a joke at all. He literally has that laugh. Like, oh!
What? You're like cutting out like really bad whenever you do that.
Yeah, it's probably peaking. It's like that SpongeBob fucking surfer laugh. Like that type of laugh. He has that laugh in the entire movie. And essentially he's just like a really like stoner fuck all type of like character compared to like the Flash we know or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, well, like, if you don't get your powers on this day, like, I'll have no way to get back to my day, like, my time. So he essentially has him go to the lab where he didn't even know, like, obviously in his world he interned there on that night, but the version of him, 18-year-old version, was like nowhere, like he'd never end up there. And he takes him there, and like he's like, okay, well, you have to sit here, let the electricity hit these chemicals, and then the chemicals bathe you in the shit, and that's what gives you your powers. And like during that, like him trying to get him to sit down, he's like, wait, I'm gonna get electrocuted? Like, fuck that, no. And like there's like the kind of struggling to like, you sit down, no, you sit down, like, I'm not fucking doing that, bro. And like the lightning hits the chemicals or whatever, and like the lightning goes through like the main Flash and hits the 18-year-old version of himself, and it takes away the main version's like powers, but gives it to like the 18-year-old, and he has to like go through and like train him how to use the powers, and he's like learning way quicker than he actually learned because he has somebody kind of guiding him. It's crazy. But yeah, I want to say one thing that's kind of spoiler, but it's like literally like a fucking 10-second clip, not even. Okay. But I don't know if you've heard of it yet, and I feel like it'd kind of ruin like a little surprise at the end of the movie.
Try to vaguely describe it and see if I know.
Another Batman comes.
George Clooney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They set up the ending to have George Clooney, like, basically he's like expecting it to be Ben Affleck, like, that's, you know, the Flash's Batman, and he's like, you know, like, the whole movie he's like, alright, like, he got everything fixed, his life's all good, he got his dad freed from prison, and he's like, alright, like, hell yeah, and he's like, Bruce, we need to talk, I have so much to tell you, and he's like, I'm pulling up right now, and then he pulls up and it's fucking George Clooney's Batman, and he's like, wait, oh fuck, and like, something messed up still, so they're setting up, I guess, like, the sequel, he'll have to go back in time and fix it and all that, you know. Still,
you think they're gonna do another sequel?
Oh yeah, this one was so good, dude. If people don't like it, I feel like if you watch that movie and you genuinely didn't like it, then okay, that's one thing. But like, I feel like most of the things I've seen are people shitting on it just because it's like Ezra Miller and stuff. He did such a good job in that movie. Like, I was riding for it really hard, and he killed it. Like, his emotional performances with like him crying or him like sitting there delivering like a little speech. There's parts in it where it's like a little corny, but it's like, that's a superhero movie in general, comic book movie shit.
Look at what I just sent you. Can you confirm that?
The one on the right is real, the one on the left is fake. Yes. It did not look like the one on the left at all. That is literally a campaign to make the movie look bad, I promise. I was pretty excited about it because like we were just talking about that because I watched a little video of like what could have been, and it was like talking like Tim Burton on like Howard Stern and stuff, and like Nicolas Cage talking about it, and like I was like, wow, that actually seemed kind of cool. But like, yeah, they have him laser beaming that giant spider that they were trying to shoehorn into the movie.
Wait, there was that spider was in other parts?
No. Like, okay, so you remember Tim Burton? I don't know if you've ever heard, but like in interviews, he's talked about like that Superman Lives movie, and he was saying that like people in charge of the like Warner Brothers shit that like let him do that essentially were coming to him like with retarded ass shit, like, what if Superman didn't fly? Like, what if we like had a giant spider? They're like, it was Kevin Smith actually. Sorry, Kevin Smith was the one that talked about this. He sat there and he was like, yeah, like they came to me and essentially were like, what do you know about spiders? And he's like, not much. Why? We're doing a Superman movie. And they're like, did you know spiders are actually the deadliest insect in the animal kingdom? And then like they'll come back a couple days later and be like, hey Kevin, what do you know about polar bears? And then they're like, he's like, nothing, it's a fucking Superman movie. And they're like, it's the deadliest mammal in the animal kingdom. And they kept going down that route trying to shoehorn all of these like deadly predators into this Superman movie. So they did have a scene in the scene where you see Nicolas Cage's Superman. He is like laser beaming a giant arachnid spider. It's cool.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, I was like, that's tight, dude.
I seen also, which I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say salty, but it sucks. You saw like the Jay Garrick one, like where he like
it was
has
a
like
very
metal
quick scene, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very quick scene, but that was like the actor from the Flash TV show that played that role.
It literally is like inside of a portal when you see it, which kind of sucks.
Yeah,
they show like the Batman where it's like the first Batman like live action where he's like his eyes are literally like a cloth mask. Yeah, Adam West. They literally show Adam West and Robin. They show the first Superman. They show Christopher Reeves. It's pretty cool. There's some cool moments in there that I was like. That's when I was like, wow, I think Zach would fuck with that part. Like, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Like, that part's cool.
Apparently, there was, like, scheduling conflicts or some shit, but even the actor who played, like, that version of Jay Garrick, they, like, fully CGI'd him. Like,
they literally killed...
They
literally killed Superman in this universe, and it's so crazy, because, like, Zod killed him as a baby. He's like talking to Supergirl, and she's like, "Where's my cousin?" And he was like, "The infant didn't live," and just like flies at her. I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, that's fucked up." Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's like, "The infant didn't make it," and he just starts fighting her. I'm like, "Whoa, they killed that nigga? No!" But I was like, low key, that is smart. It's like going back and killing like Thanos or Hitler as a baby. Like going back and killing fucking Superman as a baby is OG smart. Like, why wouldn't you do that? There's a really cool part in the movie. Since you don't care too much about spoilers, I'm not going to say too much. Like I said, I gave a warning for anyone that's watching, so if you didn't want to hear any of this, it's not my fault. I told you beforehand. But there's like a part where him and like his 18-year-old version or whatever, like when he's in the Batman like version suit that he made, they're like sitting there fighting like Zod and his army, and they have to keep doing it over and over again because like Batman, like Michael Keaton's Batman keeps dying and Supergirl keeps dying. So they keep going back over and over and over again, trying to like find a way to like make them both live, and each time one of them dies or like both of them will die or something bad will happen, so they'll have to be like, alright, let's go again, and they like fucking dap up and like go back in time again, and like, alright, let's do it again, and like it starts to get to the point where like the main Flash is like standing there just kind of like tearing up, just like in the like time space, like where you go to like enter the timeline. And the like 18-year-old version gets there, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you just standing there?" And he's like, he spoke to Batman in one of the timelines, and he was like, "Yeah, this is like inevitable. We reached like an inevitable intersection. Like, this can't be changed. They're gonna have to die." And yeah, it gets kind of sad. I was like, Jesus, dude. But fucking the 18-year-old version of Flash ends up getting like a metal fucking spike like stabbed into his arm, and he uses it as a weapon, and it's so fucking cool. He's like fighting the Kryptonians back with their own armor and shit. I'm like, that's tight, dude.
Like, yeah. Yeah, hold on. We gotta chill out a little bit. I'd keep some of it a surprise.
I mean, that's nothing that'll ruin the movie. I don't think, personally. I think like a lot of it is like stuff you have to see to be like, oh, that's fucking cool. Me describing it in my like autistic, quick way isn't gonna ruin it for you, trust me. Me being like, and then they killed Superman as a baby. Like, that's not... It doesn't impact the same when you see it and hear it. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Even knowing, like, I went into it knowing, like, Christopher Reeves is going to be in this, like, his little deep fake or whatever, and, like, Nicolas Cage and all that, and it's still, like, seeing it was really cool. I'm like, fuck, yeah. Or, like, going into it knowing for a fact Michael Keaton's Batman was going to be in it and have, like, a pretty vital part in the story. Like, it still didn't ruin it for me. Like, when you, see him, it's really cool. It's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I haven't seen that much of Michael Keaton except from like the trailers and shit.
It's good, dude. I won't say nothing about that. I'll just let you watch it from there. But yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I will say that if you're like excited about Batfleck or whatever, he's literally in the movie for like 2 minutes. So don't get excited about that. He's literally in the beginning, like 10 minutes, and it's over. That is literally the only time you actually see him as Batman is like 2 minutes, and then it's over.
Holy shit.
It's literally that beginning part where he's like putting the baby in the microwave or whatever.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's all in the opening sequence of the movie. It's like basically the Flash just being like fed the fuck up with being the Justice League's janitor. He's like saying that. He's like, I'm done being your guys' cleanup guy. Like, this sucks. I feel like I just clean up Batman's messes all day.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman makes a cameo too.
Oh shit! Did you watch a post-credit scene?
I didn't see any. I skimmed through and everything. I didn't see any. Maybe I would like missed it or something. But yeah, I didn't see any.
I think there is.
Oh, I made a point of it too. I was like, I'm gonna skim through and see if there's a post-credit scene, and I didn't see shit. I was like, ah, damn. But I also was on Xbox on the Solar Movies website, so it's kind of like, you know, you could easily skim past a little scene they threw in there to tease a sequel or something.
Was one post-credit scene and no mid-credit scene.
The one with the ending credit scene with Ben Affleck or like George Clooney or whatever did feel somewhat like a sequel setup, like because it's like his story's incomplete, like he still has inconsistencies in his timeline. What?
Oh, there's an Aquaman cameo.
I didn't see that.
Post-credit scene.
Yeah, I didn't. I was gonna say I didn't see a post-credit scene. But yeah, yeah, they talk about Aquaman. They mention him, from what I've seen in the movie.
I'll have to see, like, whenever
he was like, "There's no
either we watch it
or I made a world with no metahumans," type shit, and like he's sitting there like talking to them, and they're like, "Who the fuck is Superman? Like, we don't know who that is." And then like he finally lists off Batman, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we know Batman." He's like, "You know Batman?" They're like, "Yeah, he hasn't really been around in like a long time," and they're like, "He's like, wait, what?" Flash basically went like to a point in time where there was literally no metahumans. There's no Superman. There is no villains like that, except Zod.
Also, it's not like the events of Man of Steel are like happening. It's like a whole other like point in time.
Whole other point in time. Superman was dead since a baby. He never even got like. He never even, you know what I'm saying, came to Earth.
So how is Zod there?
That's the weird part, I guess.
Were they never frozen?
Yeah, I guess, like, he just shows up and he's, like, fucking Kara or whatever her goddamn name is. She's, like, the Supergirl or whatever. She's, like, talking to him and,
Kara's royal.
She's like, yeah, he's not here, like, whatever, talking about Superman. Like, he's gone, and she was like, it's crazy, because, like, he wasn't the one we needed. You are. And, like, he basically needs her blood. So he was after her, but I don't know where he came from or any of that shit. Unless I missed out on that part, but...
See, if I remember correctly, in Man of Steel, like, something happens on the ship.
Because, like I said, this is Zod, but, like, in this version, Zod doesn't even, like, know Superman. He killed him as a baby.
Ooh.
So his whole life went differently.
Yeah. Well, like, that's the thing, like, whenever, like, Superman's sent to Earth, like, that ship with Zod
he never made it to Earth.
Also. Oh.
He literally says that, yeah, he says he killed him in his pod as a baby. And then she got separated and sent to Earth or some shit like that. And they were like sitting there, like Barry sitting there like searching on the Bat computer, like, what the fuck? I cannot find a Clark Kent or whatever that landed in fucking Wyoming or something during the 70s. Like he's just like whatever it was, like he's trying to find it, and like eventually like he like falls asleep and Batman ended up putting the like files on his desk and he's like, oh, that's why. It's a girl. Makes so much sense. Her name's not even fucking Clark. Got it.
One thing I was wondering about, because whenever you first mentioned, I'm like, whoa, like he like, literally like tracked him to Earth and like fucking like killed him at the fucking farm. But like it makes sense, like he never even made it off of Krypton. Yeah. Holy shit. It would have been cool to kind of like see it, but then again, that would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah, I kept thinking they were gonna do that. Like Superman was gonna pop up in the movie, because they were like, oh, we're gonna go.
Didn't they have a Henry Cavill appearance?
No.
I thought there was like a CGI part where like
there's
like
one of those part like, where they're like going through all the timelines and like they see like like you were saying like fucking Nicolas Cage and all that. Yeah, it's like one of those, but it like it's not him or anything. It's just kind of like we threw his face on there, but it doesn't even really look like him. It just looks like the body. Like here's this outfit and like his face is kind of like shadowed. I'm like, huh, that's kind of weird.
Of that, like always showing him shoulders down type shit.
Right, I'm like that's kind of shitty, but whatever.
Weird flex spell, right?
But yeah, no, it was a good movie. I think if you like DC, you'll like this movie. I think if you like The Flash, you'll like this movie. If you're like super critical about movies and you're like, I don't like it because of this, and like every little thing bothers you continuity-wise, maybe it's not for you. I don't know. It felt like a
nitpicky.
Yeah, it was like a movie that you could definitely sit there and nitpick if you wanted to, but if you go into it just like it's a fun, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I've been waiting for this movie like since they first announced it back in 2018. Like I'm like definitely gonna go into this like without like, you know, like the whole Ezra controversy or anything, just like it's a Flash movie, like the very first Flash movie. There's never been one before.
People are like, why do people care about the Ezra Miller controversy though? Like, what does that
They're
matter?
fucking crazy.
No, I'm saying,
yeah,
like, what does that matter to anybody? Like, does that affect their lives? Like, what he does?
Exactly. They just want something to complain
That's what I'm
about.
saying.
If
It's
it
just
wasn't that, it's
outrage.
Jonathan Majors or something
That's what I'm
else.
saying. People
It's
just like to feel
yeah.
like a high horse. Like, we're better than you, and we're like good people.
You
and
ever
they're
see
not.
Ed Boon actually just talked about that? Like, he just retweeted. It was like something like, what was the worst cameo in the Flash? Like, why can't we talk about what the best one was? Because outrage is like more talked upon, and then peacefulness, like, oh yeah, I like this too.
Yeah, negativity is like more. Everybody can relate with negativity. Not everybody can relate with positivity.
Yeah, like
hatred is probably
like
the
this
strongest
thing.
emotion and most relatable emotion. But like loving the same thing, not everybody can do that. Everyone has like a different opinion on shit like that. But like anger is like pretty universal. Like people get mad about shit and like dogpile. It is what it is. It doesn't take away from the movie being good if people don't like it. It's still
all that
really
matters
well.
is like what you think about the movie, like what you thought about like Hogwarts Legacy, not like
I didn't like that game.
oh, it's the person who wrote that whole thing is trans. Did you not like it because it was?
I'd like to say that now, actually, since we're
transphobic?
doing a podcast. I didn't like that game because it was butt. I didn't like that game because it felt like they literally just thought that having the world of Harry Potter in the game would make it sell, and it does not feel fun to play. It is boring, it's bland, and there's more fucking love put into like Telltale games I've played than there is in that game. It's fun to do the combat, but then like 10 hours of that, every fucking person is a combat sponge, bro, soaking up spell after spell after spell after spell after spell. It's the same shit after shit after shit. The story is not fun. The whole game, I don't know, wasn't for me. I don't hate it, obviously, because of fucking J.K. Rowling or whatever. That's stupid. I don't like it because it's not a fun game. If you liked it, that's cool. Whoever listens to this and gets mad at me saying
story,
that.
like not even like the gameplay wise of it. Even for me, I agree that same way. The combat was like the best thing in it, but even then, it got very stale. If they were to do a sequel, I'd really want them to see like go the route of like remember like later Harry Potter movies, like where they're actually out in the world and shit, and like like you're like a train stop, and all of a sudden you're in fucking combat and shit. Like spice up the story a little bit more. It's like I wasn't really like too crazy about like like you're just here at Hogwarts the whole time. You get to go down to the forest over there, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's just
Nothing
a really
else.
boring game. I tried to play it multiple times and like go back and be like, maybe I was just like giving it a hard time. No, I just don't like it.
Hey,
But yeah, it did well. People liked it, so they probably will make another one. Hopefully, like you said, the sequel builds on what went wrong in the first one, because that shit's annoying.
spice it up.
I was really excited for that game. There's a podcast where I talk about it with just me in it. Like I'm a solo podcast, and I'm talking about like my games I'm most hyped for, and like I think the Quarry was like my #1, and like Hogwarts was like my #2, like most excited games at the time. And it kind of sucks to like,
Exciting concept.
yeah, it kind of sucks to look back on it and be like, yeah, no, that game did not live up to what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it's like not even on the list anymore of like hyped game, or I mean hyped games, like good games that came out.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But if you are and you're listening to this, I'm glad you had fun with it. I couldn't.
Me, like I sat there and trudged through it, but like
That's what I'm
at the
saying.
end of the
Even
day, I'm like,
you, I
I'm not
remember
about to
you,
even
like,
be able to sit
when
here
you
and like
played
do
it,
another
it was like you
playthrough
forcing
of it.
yourself to play it. Yeah, it's like I don't.
Yeah.
It's not a I want to play this game. I'm so excited about this game. This game is so good. No, it's like a fucking. This is like a painful process where I have to basically force myself to play this because I bought it.
Skip.
Yeah, it's like I bought this game, so now I don't want to fucking not beat it because now it's gonna be a huge waste of money.
Yeah, it's exactly my thought behind it. I'm gonna fucking get my use out of it, whatever the fuck.
Why,
There were like moments in it. It did like was funny because like maybe like a person like shot up in the sky like because of a glitch or some shit, but that was like about it.
Yeah, to say like, it's kind of why I guess like segueing out of that, but like same shit is like It's kind of why I stopped playing a lot of like Xbox games in general. It's just like they've been down that fucking rabbit hole. Not even rabbit hole, but like they've been down the path of like releasing just mid games and like subpar fucking bullshit and like live service games that have been out for 5-6 years that are still getting supported, that are like still the most popular games being played on Xbox. It's like, dude, man, like, what the fuck?
The
This
same
shit's
way.
so stale.
I want some simple games that we used to play back in the day, like it. And especially like with all this like extra technology, like like seamless co-op, all that. Like imagine like like the long drive with seamless co-op, whatever, like all those little fancy features. It would run like a fucking dream on Xbox, and like there's like 0 games along.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Xbox and Microsoft and like PlayStation or any of these companies will easily fund the most bullshit fucking games, like Surgeon Simulator 2. I personally don't think that game's very fun. I thought it was cool concept. Like the first one's fun.
It's ass. It does not control good at all.
That's what I'm saying. And they poured a lot of money into that, guaranteed. Getting it on Xbox, whatever the fuck, because it's a popular, trendy streamer game, party game, whatever you want to call it. And like with that game, it's like, and there's so many other examples of like Xbox supporting or PlayStation supporting shitty fucking games to get put on their console, but then like games that actually are fun and worth playing, that are hard to like shoehorn a bunch of fucking microtransactions and stuff, they're like, it's not worth our time. We can't make millions of dollars off of that every year.
We're not worried about, like, we have these like they could like still like make the same kind of fucking money if they sat there and like came out with a lot of those kind of games and they all did well. They would still like, that was like more than the success we get off of just these like once like every other couple months releases. Like we have like steady going through all of it because there's constantly being little indie things coming out.
Got some shit we could probably bring up if you guys like it, like the video. If you guys want to stick around, see if we do more of these in the future. You know what I mean? Go ahead, like the video, hit the notification bell, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you didn't like about it, what you did like, what you wanted us to talk about that we didn't talk about already, and maybe we'll get to it in the next episode. And if we don't, then whatever, And
if like like you're sitting here and like you're not like really digging it, you still kind of gotta stay.
Yeah, so, you have to stay to give us constructive criticism at the end of it to let us know what was, because like if you didn't like it, that's fine. I understand that, but we want to know why you didn't like it.
Exactly. Like, what do we say to the haters? Thank you.
Help us improve.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep it real.
We always keep it real. Shit, I'll give a little update on what I've been up to lately. Been kind of playing a lot of PC. Nothing crazy or anything. I haven't been playing no like AAA games on here. Nothing that I play on my Xbox or anything, but some just like little indie games and shit. Some new Steam releases I found, like Dave the Diver and shit like that. I thought was pretty fun to check out. Been streaming some of that stuff on YouTube. Nothing crazy, like I said. Haven't been getting like crazy views or nothing streaming those games, but they're fun to play nonetheless. I've never really been a PC gamer before, so this is like the first time I'm actually getting into a keyboard and mouse, I feel like, in a long time, since like Roblox days and like middle school, playing on like the computer lab computers,
I've been kind of doing it there with you too, but like not as much. Just like the games, like I think I can run type shit, but it is a nice little change of pace. Like it is different. I'm honestly like still like trying to figure out the keyboard because of like my whole situation. And like,
I think you should elaborate on that for people who don't know, because they're gonna be like, his situation, what? Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I play like Xbox, all of that single-handedly or one-handed, and for like the PC, like what I've been doing lately is like even James yelled at me about it. I'll fucking sit there and switch the WASD to the arrows. And then clearly just like with my right hand just like hold my one finger like walking forward and like overcompensate with the mouse, and like I have one for like a bunch of like things I can key bind on there. Like basically that's all I gotta do. Like like your sprint, jump, and crouch, and then like a reload, or if there's like a like a command that's like you need to get too easy rather than like having like reach over type shit.
Yeah.
But it has been a little bit of a learning curve, but it's getting there for sure.
I picked it up a lot quicker than I thought I would, because that's been my biggest like boundary into PC gaming, besides actually getting the PC itself. You know, once you get the PC, the biggest boundary was like, damn, dude, I gotta relearn everything I know about gaming, like, and do it with a keyboard with like a bunch of keybinds, and like there's way more controls in these games and things you can adjust graphically and in the settings and files, and it seems like a lot. But, like, actually getting into it and doing it, it is a lot simpler than I thought. I have been fucking around with it a little bit more than I thought I would. Just messing around with stuff, trying to get to learn it. But once I actually figured that shit out, I feel like, yeah, like, okay, cool. I actually got, like, a little bit of an understanding here on what people have been, you know, what I've been missing out on. But, like I said, I haven't played anything that I would have played on my Xbox, so I don't feel like I'm a PC gamer or anything like that. I'm not like converted, I would say. I don't think there's anything that could convert me unless I was like, I really got into it. Like, I would have to probably own like a fucking future-proofed like high-end gaming PC that can run like any game on the best settings, and fucking I have like the best keyboard, best mouse, like, you know what I mean? I don't, because other than that, like, I have that with the Series X. I feel like already I have the best of the best. So exactly. So having a PC that's like subpar, you know, it's okay. It's not. It can run under that. Yeah, it can run like those games on my Series X, but not as good as my Series X can. You know, so I'm like, all right, well, I'd rather just play on my Xbox. That's still my exclusively main console I'm gonna play my games on. But PC, there's so many experiences that I've like, dude, I wish I could have had these games for so long now. It's like, damn, man. This is just the indie developers and shit. They get a lot more freedom.
Exactly it.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that isn't on Xbox is those types of games, like Satisfactory. Like, we've been playing The Long Drive.
Everything has to be approved.
Like, yeah, you would have never seen games along those lines on Xbox. Yeah, they would have to like meet a certain standard for it to be on there, and like these are like ragdoll games in a way, kind of like along the lines of maybe like Gang Beasts, in the sense of like, you know, like you're like kind of like a just like wobbling around type shit, and then like in The Long Drive, like you literally have to go on a long ass road trip where it's all procedurally generated, and you can like sit there and like replace parts of a car. Like you can do a thing where with the fucking, what is this, scroll wheel, where you like literally like crunch your character in the ground, and like you can like walk around like that. And there's this one Drunken Wrestlers. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It was basically the same concept, just like ragdolls, but they're fucking boxing, and like you can like literally decapitate people and shit. And I'd say like
those are the games Xbox has been missing, though. Like, I've had so much more fun on PC this last week and a half than I've had on Xbox in months, and it's literally because of the drought of games. Like, Xbox doesn't have anything worth playing, and neither does PlayStation. Like, it's not a console argument. Like, oh, just buy a PlayStation then. It's like they don't have anything to play either. Consoles are so limited on what games you can play once you get a PC and you realize, like, I can basically download any type of vibe I want. If I want a racing game, I could download a cool racing game with a lot of work done into it. If I want a simulator game that's like a real-life simulator type shit, you can find that very easily. If you want a shooter, if you want a fucking anything, like literally any type of game you can think of on the top of your head, they will have that type of game. And you can get it. But on Xbox, it's only what's available from Microsoft's store they're allowing you to buy. It's just a lot more limited.
It's like more mainstream.
Yeah, it sucks. And
like all those like
getting into
like
the Long
Fallout,
Drive and Jalopy and like even Counter-Strike, just these games that I've like recently gotten into. I'd say the Long Drive in particular, because I've put in like 16 hours into that game since I've gotten it. That game, yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of that game. I think that if Xbox has had that game for a long time, I would have been fucking with that shit a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, the only games I'm looking forward to on Xbox aren't even out yet, and they're not coming out for another like 30 days. And then even then, how long will that game tide me over until I'm bored of it? You know what I mean? Because it's going to be another year and a half before something fun comes out again. and then it's like
Yeah.
and then like
It's been really bad
the
lately in that
chances,
sense.
yeah, the chances of something dropping that you and your friend are both gonna enjoy is so rare. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really looking forward to Texas Chainsaw, but I don't think that's going to be a game that you're going to be as hyped of. Obviously, you're going to like it and play it and love it, whatever. But I don't think you're going to like it as much as I'm going to like it just because of fucking, we're just different people. But, like, yeah, that's like, damn, dude, I want a game like there used to be. I feel like every game that used to come out was like a banger. Like, it was like, we're both going to fuck with this no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nowadays, games come out and it's like, I kind of liked it. Like, there was parts of that I fucked with, but huge parts of it that were just boring.
It's like a badass game that comes out, like, oh, like, this would be perfect for us to play. Oh, it's fucking single player only. Like you said, like, within, like, the last couple of months, like, even so, like, there hasn't been shit that has came out. Like, what would you say, like, the last game that me and you've both gotten into that was brand new came out?
Like,
or
multiplayer?
Dead Island 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say Jedi, but yeah, Dead Island.
Yeah, that was, like, the last, like, new game that, like, we
if we're
played
talking
together.
strictly multiplayer online, like we played together, yeah, Dead Island 2, but if we're speaking, like, the last game we both got into that was new, yeah, Jedi Fallen Order, or whatever it's called, Survivor. Jedi Survivor. But yeah, no, I agree. There hasn't really been shit out. That's why I've been so, like, not online, because it's just so boring nowadays. It's like, you get on there and, like, you know, somebody might be online, and then they, like, join up. It's kind of like y'all just sit there, you know what I mean? Play, like, a game.
Yeah.
That game sucks. You get off. Repeat.
Yeah, that's like a bunch of people have been relying off of the live service games, like especially like even like we've been getting into it a little bit ourselves, like the Fortnite, like all that, and it's just like there's no like classic experiences, but like I think that's like why Long Drive has like been capturing us so much, because like I was saying, it's like such a simple game. Like, you don't have to worry about like getting a weapon skin or getting a new character, whatever it is, attachment to your gun. You literally just you just chill.
Yeah, definitely a drought. I think hopefully that changes soon and that stuff comes out a little more consistently.
I wonder how long this is about to last, because I remember like us talking about this for
I think it was
years.
COVID, really, man. I honestly think COVID is the reason why so much shit just didn't come out for like that amount of time, and it's created a gap now. Like I really do believe that if COVID wouldn't have happened, like GTA 6, you know, could have came out a little sooner. We would have gotten a little bit more details on it at least, you know, by now. But with the whole world going on lockdown and shit for like almost 2 years, I could definitely see that like fucking the way they developed the game up. You know, everyone was starting to work from home and shit using Slack, and that's how they got hacked and everything. I just think the whole COVID thing really put a cramp in the game development industry for a while.
Well,
now that it's been
back?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that it's over and it's, you know, some time's passed, we've seen like PC parts kind of become cheaper now too. Like for a while, any kind of like shit you wanted to upgrade your PC or something like that would be super fucking expensive because of like the. I definitely think we're getting to that point, you know, where stuff will start to come out a little more consistently. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. It depends on if people keep supporting stupid shit. I had this debate with you about God of War Ragnarok fucking when it came out, and, you know, we argued about it for probably like a solid hour. Yeah. And at the end of it, I think you've seen my point.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. Especially after playing through it myself.
There's a laziness that people overlook because it's like, it's cool. It's God of War, and it's like, or it's Spider-Man, or it's Call of Duty, or it's GTA, or it's whatever game. People will overlook anything just because they're excited. And
it's because of that name.
They've been pumping out such like, and I'm not talking shit. Like Ragnarok is probably really fun, and it looks really good, and it plays
a cool
really
experience.
Smooth. My whole argument,
you said, they could have
it's just the DLC
into that first
essentially.
one.
Back in the day when you would get a sequel to a game, it would feel like a sequel to the game. It didn't feel like an add-on story expansion to the first game. It felt like an actual sequel with new features, new fucking modes, new characters, like it felt like a whole new experience. Like you weren't playing that game at all. It's like, I'm playing the sequel, bro. This is the fucking second one, not the first God of War. Yeah. But like, if I watch, like I said, if I go to Twitch and somebody titles their stream God of War, right? And that's all they title it, and I click on it, and I see Kratos walking, I'm not going to know the difference between that one and the second one off the bat. I should. You should be able to instantaneously tell, this is the first God of War, this is the second one, this is the new one, this isn't. But when I look at that, I can't tell which one's the new one, and that's kind of like, you know, unless you played it and you know, like, oh, he doesn't have that armor in the first one, you would know that. Like, in the second one, he could only get that piece of gear. Yeah, shit like that is like, then maybe you'll be able to know. But if you're just like me and you've never played the second one, you've only played God of War PS4.
Maybe even like played just like a little bit of the first one.
You jump on Twitch or something and you go to look it up, you're not going to know. And that to me is insane. Imagine if The Last of Us did that. If The Last of Us had came out and then the second one dropped and it was identical to the first one. Besides, like, a couple things. People would have been like, what? This is just the DLC. What do you mean? Like...
Yeah, I feel like the main thing that, like, came from that, like, was, like, they were wanting to show off, like, the PS5, like, and what it could do. I mean, but if anything, like, they could have just, like, rebuilt that engine, like, made, like, that first, or, like, I think it's the fourth God of War, make that one.
They literally could have just made a good God of War sequel and showed off what the PS5 could do. I don't understand.
That also.
Like, why did it have to look just like the first one to show off what it can do? Like, fucking make a good game, a good sequel that feels different from the first one, and show off what the PS5 can do. Render in those millions and millions of polygons, like just like you would with the build of the fucking second game that looked identical. It's just stupid to me. It's laziness. I'm sure whatever people fuck with it. I don't, so that's just me, I guess. I thought the same thing with Miles Morales. Like, I liked that one a lot, but it felt lazy. At the end of the day, it felt like a fucking DLC, and you know, it was fun. I played it, I beat it, I liked it, but like I said, it felt like a DLC.
10 hours long.
Yeah, and it was the same example that you just gave with God of War. They wanted to show off what the PS5 can do. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, make a fucking game. Don't give me a DLC and be like, here you go, $40.
Exactly.
$40, $45.
Like a demo, like, hey, before we get into this new one, this is what we're doing. And like, yeah, go ahead, pay that full price, and then a couple years later, pay even more.
Dude, I was playing the DLC for just the PS4 Spider-Man, like regular Peter Parker shit, and like, it's so boring. I was telling you that. The DLC's kind of mid, and you know, playing Miles Morales, it feels like the DLC, like, we should have got. Like, it's like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, yeah. That would have been way cooler to see.
That's how fucking Rockstar used to literally drop DLC, like it was like a second game. Like, the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and Damned is the equivalent of God of War Ragnarok and Miles Morales. You know what I'm saying?
Type shit. Yeah.
It's literally like dropping a second game in that same universe that just looks way better. That's literally what they've been doing for years. And like, they're over here doing that, dropping it like it's a full-on new game. You know how much they probably are fucking laughing their asses off. They're like, dude, we literally only had to jump back into this editor and like fuck with assets and shit and like change some stuff up. We had the whole game pre-built basically. Yeah. Like, oh man, how long do you think we can get away with this? Do you think we could do a third one like this? Like, but just like move the
Miles
setting?
Morales was literally just like, we actually scrapped this like for the first game because I originally was going to be the DLC.
That's how it felt.
We just decided like, let's fuck him over a little bit more. Like, could have charged him 20 and let's charge him 40 now.
Exactly. Like if Spider-Man 2 comes out and they drop like a Venom second game like they did with it's like the equivalent of their Miles Morales, but for Spider-Man 2, and it's like Venom. Like, if it's done well enough, I would totally understand why that was made into its own spin-off, right? That makes sense. But if it's like a fucking a 30-minute experience, an hour experience where like it's very cut and paste and like you can tell it's just like shit that could have been in the main game, I'm gonna feel some type of way about it. I'm gonna be like, hey, what the fuck? This could have just been a mission. Like, fuck you guys. Why'd you guys make me buy this?
Yeah, it would be cool to like see him work that into actual DLC, but if they don't, I really would want to see a game where you play as that character.
I do too. I just don't want it to feel like it's like a copy-paste assets into it. Like, we're gonna sell you a Venom game full price or like for $45 or some bullshit like that. but it's gonna have like the same city as you played in Spider-Man 2, the same villains, the same enemies, but like you're Venom now and you get to like kill criminals or something, eat them. You know what I mean? Like if it adds like just a little bit of content, I'm gonna feel some type of way. But if it's like if it's its own thing, you know what I mean? It feels like its own game. Yeah.
It's like symbiote Spider-Man with just like a different player model. Like you can do all the same abilities that you would be as Peter.
Yeah.
But you're just a little bit different.
It has to actually feel like they put work in to make a fucking game, not like a
like
we gave you access to this character. Now you can play as that character. Like that's literally like imagine if the first Spider-Man game, the one where you could play as Green Goblin, you know what I mean? You couldn't touch the floor. You had to just like swing around the skybox and shit. Imagine if they would have like copied and pasted all of that and just added the Green Goblin in instead of him being a cheat code. And you can play as him. They added him as like a fucking side character into a game. It'd be like, what?
Wait, are you talking about like being able to like actually like do missions and shit as the Green Goblin?
I'm saying like in the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire one, like the first game I want to say on like the Xbox, the PS2, whatever, the one where you couldn't touch the floor of the city. You had to literally just like swing around. Yeah. They had a cheat code where you could play as the Green Goblin, right? Imagine if that would have came out nowadays, right? And they fucking, or even back then, let's just say it's still back then, right? And they sit there, and instead of it being a cheat code where you can play as the Green Goblin, they just, like, it was still in the game, that cheat code, but they took that and they made it its own spin-off game, but literally the only difference is you play the entire game as Green Goblin. That would be so stupid. It'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you selling me this? Like, this is a glorified DLC or cheat code. Like, I'm literally just doing the whole game as the Green Goblin right now. This is stupid.
Why is this even a fucking thing?
Yeah. Miles Morales changed it up a little bit. Like I'll give them their credit. Like there was new powers, new enemies, stuff like that. But it felt so similar, so fucking similar.
It was the same structure. Like you go do those like little crimes on your phone, or to go through his story. Just like his that's like probably like the highlight of the whole thing, as it should be, was the main story. It was like very different and inspired. But other than that, it like you said, yeah,
if the only difference is the story, it should be a DLC.
Yeah. Like literally like, and then also like playing as Miles, but
because think about it, in GTA 4, the only difference from the Ballad of Gay Tony to like the one with Nico
is he plays a different character. Yeah.
The only difference is is the character and the story of the game. So it's like the same thing from Miles Morales. Essentially, is like the only thing that changes is like you get a new piece of the city and you get to play as this character with his own unique problems and feats and shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Like
obviously it's Spider-Man, so they kind of add a little bit more to it. But other than that, it's literally just changing up the fucking setting of the game. It's just the same thing to me. I'm like, all right, let's go. I think a good sequel is just the game that puts in that work to make it feel different. Like I want to be able to tell, this is a new game.
Yeah, with Spider-Man 2 especially coming out, like I'm really like hyped, but also worried it's just gonna be like the same shit. Like you got your story, and then you got those little side crimes and shit. You gotta go reactivate all those antennas to unlock the map. You gotta do these little science things to get these tokens. Yeah, it's gonna be like, oh my god, I did this like 3 times already. Like, why does it keep going?
Yeah, I thought it looked different enough. Hopefully, they added the gliding ability, and the villains of the game are obviously different. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of new abilities. The him having like the actual robotic spider limbs, being able to actually use those in combat, things like that, it'll add some depth into it. Shit's gonna be cool. I'm excited for that one. Hopefully that, like you said, it's not a glorified DLC.
Find a way to replace like those challenges like with different ones. Like they did a good job in Miles Morales. Like there's like a training with Hollow Pete type shit. Like and you gotta like fight all those hollow dummies to like learn new moves, whatnot. Do it fast enough that you'll be able to unlock like new tokens, so you can get new abilities and whatnot, like upgrade your web shooters, all that.
Mm-hmm. Did I enjoy it as much as everyone else did? No, but
I would definitely say I enjoyed the first Spider-Man game more than Miles Morales easily. Like, it was a cool game, cool experience, all that, but it just doesn't top the first one because of the time length and how short the whole thing is. It feels like what?
I just think those games weren't for me as much as everyone else. Like, everyone loved those Insomniac Spider-Man games, like, so fucking much. And, like, they're really good, don't get me wrong. Like, I can recognize how great they are. I'm not going to downplay that at all, but I just feel like the one for me is Wolverine, and that is, like, I've been waiting for something like that. Like, I need that. That is my superhero game. Fuck Spider-Man, man. Like, he's cool, but Wolverine.
Yeah,
I'm looking for that, like, extra depth of, like, adultery and, like, cutting niggas up and shit. Yeah. I'm not really into quips and, like, I'm funny. Like, you're not to me, but, I don't laugh at the shit. So maybe Wolverine will be my game where he's, like, actually murdering motherfuckers and, like, being a badass, and he's got some cool suits you can put on him and shit. Spider-Man, he's dope as fuck. You got to kind of turn your brain off for me anyway when I play that, because it's, like, very Spider-Man-y, and that's how it feels a lot of the times. The one
thing about that game I don't like, well, I wouldn't even say don't like, but it's kind of stale, is, like, it plays a lot like Batman, like the Arkham games. You got, like, the stealth sections, like, you go around the city, whatnot. It's, like, that's, like, what everyone was, like, there's, like, that small group of people being, like, oh, this is just an Arkham clone. But, like with Wolverine especially, and then, like, Iron Man, this new Captain America, Black Panther game, all of that, like, I want to see, like, a new play style of superhero games, because me especially, like, I've been, like, really, really wanting to see some fucking good-ass Marvel games and DC games that feel completely different than anything like we've seen. All we've ever been getting was Spider-Man and Batman, and then as of recently we got Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Gotham Knights. And then, like, Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy did have, like, a little bit of a different play style, but as everyone knows, it didn't really work out that well. And then Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. Like, that one was, like, perfect. Like, the whole dialogue option inside of it, you never seen that in a recent superhero game. Like, the play style of it where you're, like, commanding other people to do attacks for you. It's just, like, where the fuck has this game been? I've watched the new Kraven trailer, right? Or just, like, the first one that's came out.
I watched the one that you showed me,
Yeah, I think that's the only one. How do you feel like that's about to be playing out?
I don't care about that at all. I think I'm not even going to watch that. That looks stupid to me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson a lot, so maybe I'll check it out for him, but I'm not a fan of Kraven. That's not even a character I care about.
Like, yeah.
Is it MCU or Sony? I don't know.
Sonyverse.
Sony, yeah.
Like,
Andrew Garfield, I doubt that they'll end up meeting.
Hardy, all that. So, like, I've been hearing a lot of rumors. Like, they've been starting filming for Venom 3, and there's been word that they're trying to get Andrew to appear in it. But that's all, like, grain of salt tape shit, nothing from actual sources.
I mean, I could see
that. At least that I know of.
They know that that's what
would
people
be cool
would
to see
want.
Something like that.
Like, Venom 3 will probably flop unless they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see that. Because, like, Venom 2 didn't even do that well. Or the Carnage or whatever.
It did, like, all right, but I feel like at the end of the day, it didn't do as nearly as successful as that they were wanting. Because remember, they had Andy Serkis come on as the director. Like, literally, like, the god of CGI acting or something like that. Like, Gollum, like, in Lord of the Rings, all that.
Yeah.
Like, he, like, and then, like, Planet of the Apes. Like, the new ones.
Yeah.
He was, like, the performance capturer for those characters. And, like, he, like, brings, like, a certain, like, realism to it. And, like, that's why they brought him on. And also, apparently, knew a lot about Venom, and it was like a very comic booky movie. Like, it felt like
it did bad review-wise.
You were looking at a comic book page, but yeah, the story itself was kind of stinky.
I'm looking at the reviews for Let There Be Carnage, and it did very bad.
Are these critics or audience?
Both. Audience on Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 84 at least, but still the reviews I'm reading are terrible. They're like, this movie is so fucking goofy, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not a good
what was
movie, but
the-
it's fun.
So what was the reviews for the first one?
I haven't looked at them.
Let me see.
I was strictly talking about Let There Be Carnage.
30 on Rotten Tomatoes.
By who?
Well, I have to open it. So critics gave it 30.
30 for sure.
Audience gave it 80.
80? Oh, so the second one got an 84. Yeah.
So it was better.
But it didn't do better, though. Like, money-wise, monetarily.
Yeah.
It did worse. I looked it up. Was it a success monetarily, and it said no. Like, the studio lost money making that movie.
There was one movie that came out recently that...
Because I liked it, but I didn't like it that much. I thought the first one was a lot better. I thought the Woody Harrelson shit was so corny in that movie.
Whenever they were first teasing it in the first one, I was kind of a little bit hyped for it. By the time they got to the second one, it got weird. Like, all it was like him trying to get with his mutant girlfriend, and then they're gonna take over the world, and they have to fight Venom, and that's pretty much it. No Eminem song. Oh no, there was an Eminem song, but it did not top Venom.
Statistics wrong, because obviously Venom Let There Be Carnage made $506.86 million gross revenue since it came out. Venom 1 made $856 million since it came out, so it's done a lot better. Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit worrying thing about this whole Venom trilogy, each one of them have a different director.
I mean, you can tell
for
from the
this
first
third
and second one, they tried to go a whole different route with that second one.
And I'm like, they're about to be going to a different direction in this one.
M. Night Shyamalan, Wes Anderson.
They got Kelly Marcel. I don't even recognize that fucking name. Who wrote both of the movies will be directing this time.
This should be Wes Anderson.
Dude, that'd be so fucking sick.
Thanks for watching. Like it, subscribe.
Come back